All right. Let us start. Now we are in the Anattānupassanā. Huh? So today is Monday. Yes, make sure I remember. So last week on Thursday, we talked about the self and the dangers. Huh? The notion of self and its dangers. And here, as I said, that we got to be very careful when we are out there, because there are many types of ideas and concepts that's connected with all this continuity or everlasting, or there's control or almighty and so on. Yeah, and those things, when we take it up, they can harm us. You may not see the harm perhaps even in this life, but the harm comes in the next life or in the future lives. Now, what did I talk about? Let me go back to it. Yeah. So, wait. Hold on. Remove some of this thing. Okay. Now, so last week I said that from the perception of self, it comes with a cognition of self, and a cognition of self. You repeat it again and again. That means you think about, you conceptualize it unknowingly through our ignorance. Then it goes into wrong view. When it comes into a wrong view of self, that means you are already attached, strongly attached and strongly cling to this type of wrong view. And this type of wrong view can be connected with eternity, connected with what else? What did I wrote? Connected with everything that is everlasting, ever knowing, no suffering, totally beautiful, totally pleasant. They can be permanent. For example, the beings, the God or the Almighty or whatever can be permanent, but we ourselves are impermanent. You may think in that sense. So if you take up any of all this idea about there's ownership, there's controlling, no suffering, ever pleasant, everlasting, all these things, you got to be very careful. So we talk also about self, about there's Parama Atta or Jiva Atta. Parama Atta is connected with self that is out there. Out there. That means they control everything. Sometimes even this Parama Atta may be like God, or even sometimes people think of it like universal consciousness. That the consciousness exists in everything, everywhere. Jiva Atta means that it's all this soul or self they have in every form of things, like even like in a rock or in a tree or in anything. They have all these things, even us. And we have all this like soul and so on. So this is fall under the concept of Jiva Atta. So here the Sakaya Ditti, this one is a little bit more complicated. There are 20 types. We're not going to go through all of it. No. So now this, as I said, this Anattānupassanā, or even the concept of anatta, we may not think of it so. Actually, we think of it actually quite a lot. Perhaps, a lot of you may think of karma and its effect, which is good. But you have to know that this karma and its effect, karma and vipaka, these are the concept of anatta. Its concept of anatta is connected with anatta. But here, just hearing the right Dhamma or pondering on this right Dhamma on the karma and so on, these are not strong. Because the latent defilements are still inside us, and they can spring it up when we listen to other people who are very convincing about self, about soul, about God, about everlasting, about permanent and so on. Then we can fall into those views. Huh? You can see that with sometimes I met with some devotees in the past. They sort of listen to the Dhamma for many years, but after a while, when their children or when their spouse or their parents, another view, then they fall into that view after even they practice meditation and so on. That means they are not go very deep. So they are still quite weak. So all of us, when we wrongly mix with people or wrongly get the wrong or getting the wrong teachings, then all these latent defilements springs up. All right, go down a little bit. So this latent defilement springs up, as I said, it comes up from the object or from the latent stream of consciousness. In the object, that means that in the past, when you see a certain object, we already like it very much. Then the object disappear. Then at this present moment, when you see the person or you see the thing, immediately the defilements arises. And that means it's latent in the object. It's latent connected with the object. Because of your past perception, you take those objects as something beautiful, something nice. Number two, latent in stream of consciousness. Latent in the stream of consciousness here means that when you see the object does not give you any pleasure or any attachment. But maybe over time, you get connected with it, the object again and again and again and again. Then the desire springs up. Then or the aversion springs up, or the conceit springs up, or the wrong view springs up. Right now, as I said, your view or your idea or your belief, you do not want to take all about the soul and God and so on. Yeah, good. But still latent in you. But over time, if you're not careful, you mix with the wrong people. Initially, you don't like those type of idea, but they keep on feeding into you. Pop! It comes up from the latent consciousness, and then you begin to think about it, and finally, goodbye to Buddhism. So these are the latent developments. So they can be very problematic. So the only thing that we can able to remove these latent defilements, it's, where did I say? The latent defilements do not arise until the right causes or condition appear. No karma vipaka. Eradicate by path consciousness only. So they only can be eradicated by path. They cannot be overcome because there's nothing to overcome it. But now as a meditator, as with Dhamma that we have arises, then we have the wisdom. Now the wisdom, the understanding, it prevents these latent defilements from arising. Not too much. Don't let it become into cognition level or into a wrong view. So in the moment it comes up in the cognition, but we already knows it, hey, this is something wrong. The wisdom already push it aside because the wisdom is strong. If the wisdom is not strong, then it's very easy for all these latent defilements turns into mental defilement. Mental defilement, it turns into bodily or speech. There. All right. We go to another one. Now we go to another Anattānupassanā. Not another Anattānupassanā, sorry. Another area of Anattānupassanā. This one we are going into more towards the meditation part. Now, again, we go back to this one. At number 3 of the third one of this 18 principle insight. One who develops the contemplation or notes or the notings of non-self, anatta, abandons the perception of self. Now, the extension of anatta, it goes to also to the number 15 of the 18 principles of insight. One who develops correct knowledge and vision, yata bhuta jnana dasanam, abandons misinterpreting or adherence or insistence due to confusion or due to delusion. Okay. Now, another translation, perhaps you are more familiar with these words. One abandons adherence to delusion by developing the knowledge of visions of things as they really are. This one, we hear it again and again of things as they really are. But sometimes the meaning, I mean, I heard a number of people talking. Sometimes they say that even the meaning of these things as they really are is so much, very much in the surface only. You smell the flower. The flower has a very nice smell. It thinks as they really are. It's not corrupted. But the thing is that we really do not know how much our mind corrupts it. Just by us smelling the flower, which is beautiful, which is nice, and so on. Yeah? We thought that, we just smell and it's so nice. But we don't realize that we all already corrupted, or the mind already adhered or stick to certain, or the clinging's already sticking into it, but we don't see the clinging. We thought that it's all the same. All seeing things as they really are. So next time you all use the word seeing things as they really are, you're going to be careful. So let us go a little bit on the Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana. Okay, let us see what is it. All right. Here. Yata Bhuta. Yata Bhuta refers to in reality, in truth, or really, or definitely, or absolutely, or ought to be, truthfully, in its real essence. Yeah? In its real essence. Okay? Abhinivesa, adherence to. Here we have this one. So you are samoha abhinivesa. All right? The word samoha, though it comes, I mean, the word moha is already delusion, but samoha means you, when the word sam is there, that means it's more like enhance or stuck delusion. Like for example, we have sampajanya. But not only just seeing, but sampajanya is intense, is a deep type of seeing of things as they are. Sampajanya. We use the sati and sampajanya. So the word samoha also the same. When the word samoha is there, that means it's a very strong delusion. So the delusion is here. From the sub-commentary of Visuddhimagga, delusion, samoha, is deep confusion by means of doubt and misinterpretation. That means misinterpretation here, that means it springs up from the wrong perception, then it springs up into wrong thinking springs up into towards wrong view. So this is what it means here. Now, Yata Bhutan, as I said, a lot of times we just, Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana, a lot of times, as I said, we just use the word seeing things as they really are. But Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana, it's all about Vipassana. The moment you begin Vipassana, is Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana already. Until you become Arahantship, it was Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana. Until you stop the samsara, then it's all over, But other than that, when you actually begins Vipassana, then you begin with Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana. If you are doing actually like just samatha and so on, or even you are thinking about karma and its effect, or pondering over karma and its effect, it's still not Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana, because this is still concept, although it's you think the right things, you think the right subject, right view, but you haven't see it actually. How is it going on? How is the whole reality is like? It's still conceptual to you. Yeah. So we need to go deeper into vipassana in order for us to see into things as they really are. So what is this nyata? This one is like, this one will come back on this one again. This is mine, this is myself. We all start from this one, but through this red color, through this vipassana, it's from this is not mine, this is I am not, this is not myself. In a short while, we're going to look into it. We're going to look into it. I don't know why I put it here. I forgot why I put it here. Anyway, let us look with this Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana first. Okay. Now, strictly speaking, what is this Nyata Buddha Jnana Dasana? The commentary, the Visuddhimagga, states that Yata Buddha Jnana Dasana, it is the first and second insight knowledge. It's the first and second insight knowledge. That means this is the beginning of your vipassana. The beginning of your vipassana. And the beginning of the vipassana, it's anatta. That's why it falls under Anattānupassanā. Now, although we say that this 1 and 2, it's strictly speaking is Jnana Bhuta Jnana Dasana. But of course, when you go 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the deeper insights, it's still, we can categorize it as seeing things as they really are. Because you are still penetrating deeper into reality. But the first two, it's actually important. Now, so when we begin vipassana, we begin by anatta actually. Whether you realize it or not, all of us begin with anatta. Now the word anatta here, it's not easy for us to understand the nature of anatta. Because normally we don't talk about non-self. Even non-self come right in front of us, we don't even realize what is that. We can only see what is that. But we don't realize it that is the nature of non-self. Impermanence, yes, you can see things are changing. You can see dukkha. Yeah, when the pain in the buttock, yes, it's a one kind of dukkha. But when anatta come right in front of us, we don't even realize that those are anatta. Okay? Now, let us start with this practice of vipassana. Now, in the development of practice of vipassana, usually we normally will tell you that you start off with, you be mindful of your walking, you be mindful of your sitting, you be mindful of your daily activities. The moment you wake up from 4 a.m. in the morning until 10 a.m. at night, or 3 a.m. in the morning or 9 p.m. at night, then you have to be as mindful as you can. We want to remove the gap of non-mindfulness as much as possible, and we want to push the mindfulness develop as much as possible. Because when the mindfulness comes in, the concentration goes together with it, and when the concentration goes together with it, then there's a chance for the wisdom or the penetrating factor of the mind to arise. Now, if you start off with this, before even you get or you're able to see the nature of the first insight, you will go through, for most yogis, will go through difficulty. Difficulty is just not in the pain only, which I've talked about it quite a lot in the past, in the past talks. Not in the pain only, but what you will go through is that you will go through a lot of sleepiness, drowsiness, After you finish that drowsiness, there's a lot of thinking. A lot of thinking and thinking and thinking. You think of all kinds of things, even before you reach to the first insight. And you have to persistently, you have to go through, because a lot of these nivaranas or all these hindrances that arises, it may, any one of these factor, maybe your pain, maybe the difficulty of practice, or maybe you cannot sit still, or you cannot walk, or whatever. One of these factors, if you are not careful, you will stop the meditation. Other words, you will not continue the meditation anymore. Or if you are in the retreat, you will go back. And the challenges, it's a lot, because you have to go through all kinds of difficulty. Physical retreat or residential retreat is going to come soon. A lot of you are already rusty already. Oh, Bante, 2 years no meditation. Yes, I know. I know. So a lot of times we get rusty. Don't know what to do. But anyway, the moment that we start doing something, if those have some experience and all, the memory and everything will start come back again. But once it come back, that means that the difficulty and the difficulty of progress also will start coming too. So in the midst of all this difficulty, you keep on trying. So while you keep on trying, there will be some gaps of the moment that you're going to be mindful. You're going to be mindful, you're going to be clear. And for that short gap of the moment, your mind free from all the sleepiness, free from all the thinking, and your mind can able to penetrate through the nature of this rising and falling, or lifting, pushing, dropping, or in-breath, out-breath, or sitting, touching, or the different types of pain. They become more distinctive to you. And not cover up by all this thinking, because at that time your mind is working at the optimum level just for a short period of time. So during that time, you pay attention to it. You see the nature of the pain. You can able to withstand the pain. You can able to notice the rising, falling, and so on, which is good. And then after that, as it goes further, then yogis normally they will begin to see things starts to break up. Like for example, the rising, falling starts to break up. There will not be just one rising, but just 2 or 3 risings coming in. There's not just one falling, but 2 or 3 fallings coming in. Then, even in the lifting, pushing, dropping, then sometimes they begin to able to see not just lifting, pushing, dropping, but there's more parts in the whole movement of from the lifting until dropping. There's many smaller movements in between. So during that time, even the yogis may not able to label it, because there can be quite a number of things, which is okay, no problem. Which is, I mean, they are developing quite well. Now when they go into it, then they begin to what we call breaking up on the continuity. So when it happens in that way, and again later part, the mindfulness all disappear again. Then you go into sleepiness, and then go in pain, cannot, and then you try the next sitting, the next walking, then suddenly everything come back again, everything clear again. Then it continues from where you finish. I mean, where you stopped earlier on, then it continues, then you begin to see things more clearer. You're going to go through and fro like that in the beginning part. There's no such thing as one yat yok tag until nibbana there, not like that. No. It's a lot of gap, and you're going to go through. You're going to go through you're going to go through up and down, and that's why a lot of times yogis have a lot of times come in one retreat, go in one retreat, as if like you have nothing much. Which is true, because sometimes even with the first insight, it takes yogis 2 or 3 retreats just before you can able to get first insight. And when I say 2 or 3 retreats, each retreat may be like 2 weeks. So some people get it faster, some people get it a bit faster, but normally if they keep on trying, then they're determined to pull through. Yes, you can be able to pull through into the first insight. Now into the first insight, once you go into the first insight, now again, this first insight, how you perceive the first insight can be quite different from one yogi to another yogi. Yeah? The first insight for some yogis may be coming from the sitting meditation, for example. They see the rising and falling. Now, this time they can see the rising and falling quite clearly. Each rising, there is followed by a knowing mind, followed by a noting mind. Then after that, there's another rising, another noting mind. Another rising, another noting mind, another rising, another noting mind. Then after that, there's a falling. One falling, one noting mind, one falling, one noting mind, one falling, one noting mind. Now, some yogis sees it in this manner. Now, some yogis may not see it in this manner. It may see that there's a number of rising, but the mind was only one only. You can, as if like the mind is disconnected from the rising, then you can see a number of rising, but the mind is only they only feel that there's only one mind only. So too when it's falling, there's a few times it falls, but the mind only see one time falling only. So some yogis different. A different 3 times rising, you can see three different mind. 3 times falling, he can see 3 different mind that is following the falling motion. So when he able to do that, then it's fine. It's part of begin to see into the discrimination of mind and body, because this time you're able to discriminate, you're able to distinguish that this is mind and this is body. Now, some other yogis are able to see it in the walking meditation. Now, in the walking meditation, for example, when they're lifting, pushing, dropping, then as if like the mind is like on the top and the body, the movement is quite far away, Then that time they feel that there's a very clear 2 distinct entity. One is the movement of the feet that is going on, or one is the mind that is knowing the whole lifting, pushing, dropping. Although while you are lifting, pushing, dropping, the labeling may still able to go on, labeling of it as a lifting or as a pushing or as a dropping. So it begins to able to distinguish that. So this is also nature of this one. So even a person may be say for example, standing there and looking at something mindfully. When you look at something, you're able to see, and then after that, seeing, he feels that there's an object, and the mind that is seeing is another thing altogether. Yeah, how do they do that? Then that time, the nature of the mind can able to distinguish these 2 things. Yeah? Or sometimes we can able to feel one thing. The nature of the feeling or the emotion of the feeling is another thing. Okay, so there'll be quite a number of things that's going to happen. Yeah, sometimes even like not only distinguish mind and body, but once in a while, the yogi, if they are sharp enough, they may able to distinguish the pain and the knowing mind. This time, but as I said, the pain falls under feelings, right? So feelings falls under mind, but it lodged at the buttock there. Then when it's at the buttock there, so body or mind now. You don't think about body or mind, you just note it, whether it's at the buttock or whether it's somewhere else, it's in the body. But as long as you can able to notice it, you can able to distinguish it, that this is a very powerful pain and the mind that is noting it. So that period of time, the mind does not falls under, does not go into anger or does not go into sleepiness or thinking, and the mind doesn't overreact to the pain, and it just stays there with the pain and watch the characteristic of the pain with a distinguishing type of state of mind and the body in that sense. So the yogi can able to do that. So the moment, once the momentum picks up during in the retreat or during in the practice, once the momentum pick up, you will keep on seeing the same thing in a different manner again and again. You will see this knowledge of mind and body again and again. Now, while it sees that, it only sees these two only. The idea of self and a soul or a third entity, there won't be there at all. There won't be there at all. Even though at this moment of time, the mind is at its optimum, at its penetrative level. You can able to penetrate, and yet you cannot able to find a third entity. Now, if you're a person who takes up the wrong view of a self, let's say, you take up the wrong view and you believe that there must be a self or a soul inside me, jiwa atta. Okay, you see, it's a jiwa atta that you have. Then you could somehow or another you go and practice vipassana, and you practice well. And now you practice well, you come to this stage, it may be very shocking to you. Because at this time, although your mind is much more concentrated than your everyday life, then the person or the yogi cannot find the third entity. Where is that third entity? Where is that self? None. That's why it's shocking to the yogi for that person. For that yogi, it will be shocking to that person, to that this one. And sometimes it's going to be a lot of doubt or confusion and so on. And then sometimes a lot of things get stuck there, because here he sees the reality of Nyata Bhuta Jnana Dasana. Here he sees reality, but because of his wrong view in the past, it keep on spring up, because it doesn't tally with the wrong view right now, but the person still doesn't know that it's wrong view, but now he's seeing this thing. Now, if the wrong view gets stronger than the whole practice, then the person will stop the whole meditation and then they don't go on anymore. But if the person has that better parami, better have done something better in the past, and he can able to overcome and let go of that wrong view, then that will be very good, because they're going to go very far. That's why, as I said, all this wrong view thing, I spent a talk, even I spent a lot of talks in the past, even last year, talk about this self, this thing, in order for us not to go and play with it. Go and take it up and go and play with it, because when it comes to your vipassana development, even right at the first insight knowledge, you cannot penetrate through it. You cannot go through it. That wrong view will block you from going any more further from that. So that's why we have to be careful. So that one is important. So the yogi able to distinguish in its own manner, its own way of distinguishing. So you can able to notice all these type of things happening, which is good. But some yogis sometimes, although they may see these things, they don't realize that this is all anatta already. That they begin to see separate of this and that, this matter and that, but they don't see this as anatta. It's just, mind is mind, matter is matter, body is body, mind and mind, this element is this element, mind, the knowing mind is what? Anatta. Exactly, this is one mode of anatta. One mode of anatta that the yogi is looking at it, which is good. But nevertheless, while you are meditating, don't go and We can think too much, whether this anatta ka, whether this dukkha or this anicca, doesn't matter. That one is all conceptual. But sometimes when you're out of that meditation, like right now, you are not in the it's good that we can able to recall it back, to think about it while what happened in the past and so on. It's good. But when you are in a retreat, make sure that all this type of topic, you just make sure that you just pay attention to your object will do. Then the progress will be very fast. If you're going to bring in all this concept back again, then it become a problem to your mental development. Now, the yogi keep on practicing. Now we're going to go into the second insight. While we are looking at all these type of things, the nature of distinguishing mind and matter, it will be governs all your insight, because everything that you're going to go through is just mind and matter, and you're going to see how the different modes of anicca, dukkha, anatta in the mind and matter. Right? It's all about that. So the distinguishing of that mind and matter, it's so important in the beginning of this one, in the beginning of the practice. This is not dictated by how the practice will go. This is the nature of this is chitta niyama. This is the law of the mind. This is not something that is created by the Buddha or created by the commentary. This is the nature of it. So all of us will have this nature. Even I think even the devas also, as long as you have 5 aggregates, you're going to see all these things. So you keep on practicing. You keep on practicing. When you keep on practicing again and again and again and again, then you go through all the suffering, all the pain and all that thing. And sometimes the pain can even be stronger as you go a little bit more further. The pain gets stronger, although you can meditate more, but the challenges also become much more greater. So it all these things, this difficulty and so on, if you're not careful, all this aversion springs up from the latent, defilements. It springs up and it will become your big hindrances to your practice. So we go through all those things. Now, when you come to the second insight, now the second insight here is knowledge of discerning of condition. Paccaya parigahanyana. And paccaya means condition, parigaha. So again here, it falls under anatta also, these two. It falls under the modes of anatta. It falls under one of the, and the first one, the mode of anatta is different. The second one, the modes of anatta is again, they are different, but they still falls under anatta. Now there's discerning of condition here. It begins to see the interaction, the interactive part of mind and matter. How your mind and your body is reacting or responding to oneself or to another. Because now you can able to see these two. Before that, you can able to see mind and matter. Now you can see how they are reacting, how they are reacting to each other. Now, during in the retreat, we remind the yogi again and again, hey, not your intention also lah. Even like if you are a beginner retreat, you're not your intention. You want to walk, nothing. Your intention, not your intention. Even you don't see the actual intention yet, you are just tembak only lah, Okay, it's all right, no problem. Intention to walk, then you walk, and then you walk right step, left step, lifting, pushing right. Then after that, you want to turn, you intention to turn. Sometimes they do intention to turn and then intention to stand. Fine, good. Then you want to walk again. Okay, good. Go ahead. So in the beginning part, although we we help you in a way, the teachers help you in a way to at least remember the nature of intention. But you are not actually seeing the true nature of intention yet. It's only when you come into the second insight knowledge, then you begin to see how the intention arises, how the consciousness arises, then an action or a body of movement will start to take place. And you're going to repeat many times. Say, for example, a simple example is that when the yogi wants to start walking. Now, this time, when he starts walking, he notices the intention. He can feel that there is a mind that arises and it passes away just for a short while. Then the leg starts to move. You know, there's a mind that arises. It feels it. At that time, that means your mind can able to touch on the reality and touch on the nature of intention, the mind itself. So you begin to see the intention and the movement taking place. The movement that is taking place. Then as you move and so on, you want to stop. Sometimes the intention going to stop. Then it comes into stopping. A lot of times yogi may not able to see those things. Then after they turn again, then they notice they start to walk and then they start walking. Then after that, the movement comes in. So they begin to see a simple interaction of mind and body. This is the intention. This is the movement of the leg. So the movement of the leg is matter, body, and the mind is another thing. Then you begin to see the interaction, which is good, wonderful. Yeah. Now, you begin to see this interaction again and again in many different ways. Sometimes they want to drink water, they are mindfully, they do it mindfully, they do it carefully, they will do it slowly. Then they can see that the movement of the hands, it's not just one movement, but the movement of the hand, it's like staggered movement, or it breaking up in a number of movement. Just like when earlier on we talk about the rising, falling, it become 3 or 4 rising, falling, 2 or 3 rising, 2 or 3 fallings. So do the same thing. If you are mindful, when your mind is at optimum level, then able to notice the hands are moving like staggered, one after another, one after another, one after another. It's not so smooth in that sense. It's like one, you can feel it one after another. At this time, at the second insight, the yogi also begin to notice that each and every of this small little movement, there is a mind that comes together with. Mind come first. Mind is the forerunner. Just remember that. That's your Dhammapada. And this time you see it in your actual vipassana. Now you notice that the mind come first, movement take place. Whereas in the earlier stage, in the first stage, you see the mind and the movement together. You don't see how they interact. But this time is different. You see the mind come first, movement take place. Mind come first, movement take place. Mind come first, movement take place. Then it comes in many different ways, like mind come first, lifting take place. Mind come again, pushing take place. Mind come and then dropping taking place. Again and again, he sees into many things if the yogis is mindful. Not only that, but sometimes the yogi can also come into the senses. It's not hearing from a sound from out there, then pop, thoughts arises. Before that, he knows that there was no thoughts. Only when the hearing arises, there's a consciousness or there's a thoughts that's going through. Then he can, that timer, he's more like he's standing out, he's standing out and he begin to notice a process of hearing in taking place. Here you hear the thoughts arises. Here arises. And they kind of like split into slightly 2 different times, not one together. So when they're able to see that thing, this also seeing into conditionality. You begin to able to discern conditionality. Next time, when you are at this stage also, if you are mindful, the pain arises, the pain, pop, anger arises. Oh, you can smile at that time. Wow, I can see this already. Or last time you are. But this time you can, wow, I can see the anger. Now the anger is an object to your noting mind. Your pain is your object to your noting mind. Anger is a noting. So you begin to see pain one, anger arises. Pain, anger, pain, anger. After that, you notice as your mindfulness becomes stronger, you see, pain is there, but no anger. Because reconditioned by the noting mind. And then the anger does not arise, you just note only the pain. Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Then you begin to see different conditionality. And that is wonderful. And you're going to see in many ways. And now, supposedly, again, if you hold on to the wrong view of self again, and let's say you can able to come to the second insight. And when you come to the second insight, when you begin to see cause and conditioning, that mind is the forerunner, mind is the dictator. It dictates to you to do this and do that, or the body to do this. And you can see processes of sound arises, consciousness arises, or thinking arises. In so many ways, the yogi sees it. Then here, if the yogi in the past maybe be holding on to the idea or to the wrong view that this Almighty is the one who fated me to move my hand, of my movement of my body is already fated. Some says it's already written in the books by the God or by the Almighty. So right now, I don't see the third factor, and yet at the same time, I don't see how they're controlling me. I don't see how those self or those atta is controlling me at all. This is just only all this intricate mind and body are all responding to each other. And then they can see that. So the word fated and the word is being controlled by other beings, or whether your speech or any form of your action or killing is fated by, controlled by other beings, then that type of thoughts, totally you have to let it go. You already, the reality is you're looking at it, so the wrong view may not able to arise unless it's so strong. So if it's so strong, that means you got to see it again and again until this wrong view is out. So that's why, as I said, again, don't take up that wrong view. Don't take up all this playing with all this God and all this thing and self and soul and everything, because it can really harm you in different ways. So when we see the conditionality of how things are affecting each other, the mind, body process affecting each other, then you begin to see the true nature of conditionality. Now, when you see this true nature of conditionality long enough, repeatedly, many times, then also your understanding of the nature of karma and its effect also becomes very deep inside you, because the nature of karma and its effect are based on conditionality, cause and effect. But of course, we don't see how the one killing is going to give rise into hell and give rise into that. We don't see those things, but we see that at the present moment, even right at the present moment, there's cause and effect is happening already. So while you are seeing it, maybe next time you come out of meditation, then because of what you have seen in your practice, then you rightly inferred, rightly conceptualize, because due to the right view that arises, then you can see that in the past, I was also having this cause and effect. In the future also, there will also be cause and effect. In the present, there's already cause and effect. So all the doubt about in the past, all the doubt about the future, all the doubt about the present is all removed. Remove it. It removes all the idea whether there's a God or whether there's a Almighty, there's a controller, and all that thing is begin to remove everything. That is anatta, because really the anatta brings you into that level. So it's good. So it's good that you have, if you can able to bring yourself into that. So the first insight, second insight is very much to do with anatta. But as I said, it's not easy for us to see the anatta because we just see it as this thing happened, that thing happened. We don't realize it's just anatta. Okay. Now, where else we go? Okay, go back to the screen. Where? Okay. When you come to the third knowledge again, the third knowledge, the anatta aspect, is slightly different from the first one and the second one. It's already a different mode of anatta again. But this time, this mode of anatta is going to be connected to the anicca and dukkha. Because at this knowledge of comprehension, as I said, what does it comprehend? It comprehends the groups of anicca, groups of dukkha, groups of anatta. You're going to go, but actually you're going to, but what happened in reality is everything, anicca, dukkha, anatta, all roja inside there, like all totally mixed up. You don't even know what you are looking at. You think that your whole meditation goes into haywire. Or before that, the second knowledge, mind comes, then only my hand move, you see? Very good. Hand come, this move. Here come. Now when you come to this one, everything, you're rising, falling, all come in a very haywire manner. Your walking meditation is like sometimes you want to fall, sometimes you want to walk straight, sometimes walk straight also cannot. You want to walk to some other people's lane. Hey, move back to your own lane. Sometimes they can't even lift up the lifting, or sometimes the lifting becomes so heavy, and sometimes the leg stretch a little bit longer, sometimes it stretch a bit shorter. How come everything becomes like not smooth anymore? And this is exactly the nature of dukkha. One of the nature of dukkha become quite unpleasant for you to note at it. But while you're looking at it, everything is like keep on changing, moving, going haywire. This is exactly is anatta. This is exactly is anatta. You are still observing it, but it changed according to its liking. That it doesn't want to go that walking that you are familiar with. That your walking right now is like, as I said, you want to fall. Sometimes you want to fall. Sometimes it goes longer. Sometimes it goes shorter. Sometimes it goes heavier. Sometimes it goes lighter. Sometimes you feel like you're floating. Sometimes you are dragging a ball of steel. Just so many ways. But exactly, you cannot control it. And if you keep on trusting, if you trust your meditation, then you can go forward. If not, it's going to be a hard time for you. This is exactly anatta, although that it comes in the haywire manner, but this is the nature of anatta. Yeah. Or even like, for example, like you are noting a rising, falling. Earlier on, noting rising, falling very clearly. After that, suddenly the whole noting mind keep running to the head, running to the mind, running to the heart area, turning to the stomach area, after that running to this, after run there, and then after runs the rising, falling for a shot, and then run again. You thought that, no, I'm a Mahasi method, cannot, I must stick with the rising, falling only. Then if you all that idea, then the anatta is all covered up. Why? Because you think that you can control your meditation. You think you can control your meditation, that you want the meditation to be like that. You want your walking meditation to be smooth and nice. You want this is mine. This I am. I am controlling it. Why meditation? Why boy rising, falling like that? Yeah. You see. So that the nature of anatta, when you trust the meditation, you trust your mindfulness, you let it go and you see all the haywire of going through and so on, then you begin to see it is not your own. This you cannot control. This you cannot control. This you will do as it like. You will change as it like. You're not seeing into arising, passing away yet, and at knowledge number 3, You're only seeing a lot of viparinama, a lot of change. In the rising, falling, it change in this shape, change into that shape as it wants. So they say, the characteristic of anatta is non-ownership due to the momentary of arising and passing away. Now, this one, the momentary arising and passing away, you're going to go in the 4th, 5th knowledge, later part of the knowledge, then you will actually, the Anattānupassanā becomes so much more clearer. So already now is already, you are meditating clearly, but you are thinking that you are meditating very bad at all. Yeah. So you are still doing well. Yeah. So next time you meditate until like mong cha cha already, you come into the interview room, then the teacher say, very good, carry on. They don't tell you what is what now, but actually you are doing right. You are doing right. Not to say you are doing wrong. You only make sure that you must trust your meditation and you keep it going on it. Yeah? Put all your doubts and everything aside. Okay? So this is knowledge of comprehension. The anicca part, the dukkha part, we talked about it already, earlier on in the past talks. So this part here, the knowledge of comprehension here, as I said, they can be very confusing. They can be very, the noting mind can be very going haywire here and there, but this is anatta. Exactly, because it's not within your control. Now, let's see what the Buddha says. Where's my Kindle? Okay, this one. Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. This is the second sutta, after the Dhammacakkappavattana. This one is deep. So let's see. All right. I don't want to read everything. You want to read, this is at Samyutta Nikaya, number 59. I think this is chapter 22, 59.7. Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. Now, this is what I want to show you to you. What do you think, bhikkhus? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, Venerable Sir. Is impermanent suffering or happiness? Is impermanent suffering or happiness? Suffering, Venerable Sir. Is impermanent suffering as subject to change fit to be regarded as this is mine, this I am, this is myself? No, Venerable Sir. So is the feeling permanent or impermanent? Is the perception permanent or impermanent? Is volitional formation permanent or impermanent? Everything is impermanent. So can you be, is it what, then after that is everything is what is impermanent suffering and subject to change, fit to be regarded as this is mine, this is I am, this is myself? No, Venerable Sir. So, therefore, bhikkhus, any kind of form whatsoever, past, or present, or past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, all forms should be seen as it really is with correct vision. Thus, this is not mine, this I am not, this is not myself, and so on with all the other this one. By the time they finish the sutta, all the 5 of them are enlightened already. At least at the first stage, I think. Now, the thing is that here, the Buddha used the words quite simple. It's just only the asking only. It says that things should be seen as they really are. It should not be regarded as this is mine, this is I am, this I am. So here, what I'm trying to say is that what you read in the sutta, and what you actually see in the vipassana, they are very connected and very deep. If you do not have any form of vipassana practice, you're going to interpret that particular passage totally differently. Until you come to vipassana, then only at least you understand what do you mean by seeing things as they really are. So here is the knowledge of comprehension. Things are changing due to the anicca here. They are changing. The changing means that it's viparinama. That means they are changing and changing, or rising or falling, is going this way, that way, up or down or forward, backward, sideways, or at a certain angle. Your walking meditation is not going there. And then while you are noting all this changing, then the feeling of bosong, the oppressiveness of the noting, that means you want it to be a certain way, but it's changing in that way, then your mind is like, having a bit of oppressiveness. Then the dukkha nature of aspect come in. And then you can see that they are calm, and then they go, they come again, and then they go, and then they change again here and there in so many ways. There's no way you can able to control it. Then the aspect of anatta comes in to you. It impacts upon you. So you're going to see this nature of this anatta again and again. So you don't reject all this one. Now, so this is knowledge of comprehension. Let's go. Sorry. Want to. Okay. Let's go back to this one. I want to show you something. All right, here. First, second knowledge, anatta. Knowledge number 3, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. They will be the prominent one. Fourth and fifth, fourth, fifth, we already talked already. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we already dukkha, yes. So now the thing is that we come to the knowledge number 11. The knowledge number 11, again, the anatta aspect will come into its most clearest before enlightenment. Before enlightenment, of course, after enlightenment, all the anicca, dukkha, anatta is so much more clearer than before, But at least, at least before you get enlightened, then at the knowledge of equanimity towards formation, or sankhara upekkha jnana, then here it's your anatta again become very prominent. Okay. Now, the prominency of that sankhara upekkha, there's a number of things that during this time, let me go down again. Okay. Where have we? Okay. Knowledge of equanimity of formation. Now, here the knowledge of equanimity of formation here, in other words, What is this formation first? Formation here is again is mind and body. And what is this mind and body doing? This is always arising and passing away. And what is this arising and passing away doing? They come in all forms, all shapes, all changing. And other words, all this formation, when you look back at knowledge number 10, this is 11. Knowledge number 10 is knowledge of reobservation. That means you go back to all, sometimes for some yogis, they go back to all the previous knowledge of number 1, go to number 2, number 3 again, repeat all over again. And then when they see those things, they go through all the dukkha and the difficulty and everything. Very, as I said, the mother of all dukkha, those type of dukkha and those type of, and also, all the happiness and joy when you come into the third insight or fourth insight there, where all the, what do you call that, joy and happiness and sukha and piti and, everything is going smoothly, going well and so on. So, you go through those things at number 10. You have sometimes it fluctuates the whole mindfulness, because it can be very challenging. But when you reach to number 11, it's a different game altogether. Again, here the formation here means anicca, dukkha, anatta again. All the characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta again, and connected to all the past insight that you are seeing. But this time, the nature of observation, it's very stable and utterly balanced. That means the pain that in the past, that it affects you so badly until you want to cry, or even you cried already. This time, the mind does not affect it at all. Although the observation power is still at its maximum, optimum, but those pain or those dukkha that you've gone through in the past, this time it does not affect you. Your mind is so steady. No matter how painful the pain is like, your mind is not affected by the pain at all. Zero effect. In the past, the pain in the butt, a bit see, a bit what, no more. Pain come in, no problem at all. But the mind is totally, utterly well balanced. And then all the joy, all the joy and all the pity. And here, all the joy and all the pity, like that day we talk about the 10 imperfection a little bit. Then when you attach to it, when you see the light also, the light only is just seeing only. If the delight arises, it just doesn't affect you anymore. It just pass. If the images of the past that you usually have connected to, that you are sad and you are angry, you see that person's face, you're already so garam already, you break all your meditation, So this time, whatever concept, whatever feelings that arises, whatever joy that arises, whatever dukkha, no matter whether it's dukkha, viparinama dukkha, sankhara dukkha, all doesn't affect you at all. Isn't it fun? But you got no joy, no happiness, no sadness also. But you are full of wisdom. Yeah. Some people think that they can't mana song. No feeling at all. But this is exactly the nature just before you're going to go into realizing nibbana, that these things will take place. These things will take place. So it's totally equanimity. That means your balance of your faculties is at its tip-top condition. So here it abandons dukkha also, as I said, no matter how difficulty, how angry about with another person, and whether it's mental dukkha or physical dukkha, nothing is affecting you. It affecting all the delight also, as I said again, here the delight here is your past or your future or your even in your present delight, no matter whatever joy comes in, it also being abandoned. It's just by seeing on it only, then it's disappear. Here at this knowledge also, it's long-lasting practice. Long-lasting practice means that from 4 o'clock in the morning, right until 10 o'clock at night, there's no break one, mentally no break. Sangka fully like you do not know where all the effort comes in. It's just like every moment when the teacher say, hey, every moment you mindful, every moment you mindful. You know that before Sankara Upeka, you cannot do it. Until you reach Sankara Upeka, then from morning 4 o'clock moment you open up your eyes, literally until you close your eyes and sleep. So it is really interesting meditation at that moment of time. Now, just before we go, a little bit, we haven't talked about anatta connected with these things yet, right? Now, the anatta aspect, when you comes into here, in this Sankara Upeka, is even more refined. Even more refined than previously what you have seen before. Now, every like the formation that is going to form, that is going to arise, the mind knows it first. Not only the mind knows it, the mind knows it's how is going to change, in what way that is going to change, what way is the form is going to take place. The mind knows it first. In the mind that already aware that this form is going to take place in a short while, then only the form will take place. That means before I say yes, the mind already formed it to be yes there, then only it come out. If at the Sankara, at the second insight, you only notice mind arises, movement take place. Mind arises, movement take place. But this time, even more refined is that you know that how is the movement is going to take place. Everything, every minute little thing right now, every arising, every falling, the mind knows it first before it takes place. Every minute thing, the mind is going to know first. So deep that sometimes this Sankara Upeka can go. So at that time, who is the owner of this body? Who is the owner of this mind? Nobody, nothing. There's no ownership at all. It's just cause and condition. It's just anatta only. Nothing yours, nothing mine. Until then, we can able to see that. When you can able to, if you can able to do that again and again, you become strong in the Sankara Upeka, then sometimes I said, get ready to knock on the door of Nibbana already. All right, so we'll stop until here. It's already 10 o'clock. We'll continue a little bit more on this anatta also on the coming Thursday. The Q&A another day. So we're going to continue on this Thursday. Okay, Thursday. All right. Okay, we stop here.